Welcome back to Daytona. Joey Logano, Brad Keselowski are still fastest. Trevor Bayne, Daniel Suarez, Clint Boyer are the fast five with an hour and 2 minutes left to go in this session. Let's jump in the Wayback Machine, Sherman, and take a look at Michael Waltrip's Bahari Racing Dick Bear Pontiac. The tachometer is the biggest gauge, and gauges are arranged left to right in order of importance. Tach first, oil pressure next, then water temperature, and so on. Today, that looks pretty primitive, Larry.
Yeah, a couple of years ago, NASCAR in the Cup Series went to a digital dash. This is the one in our Ford Cutaway car, and you'll see here, you can keep it looking like gauges, but there's a lot of options. You can use a bar graph, you can use digital just like this, but the lights you're talking about is right up here. They can be used as shift lights, or mainly they're used as pit road lights. And pit road speed here is 55. They give you up to 59.999. So you want to stay with all green lights to know that you're right there on pit road speed.
Actually, if you look right here on the left, that's the lap time that is displayed on there. That's something that those drivers really like having inside the car.
Michael and Kyle and Richard were watching a rerun of a race a long time ago when Michael lived with Richard and Kyle, actually with Kyle. And Richard asked Michael, said, Michael, where did you learn about racing? And Michael said, everything I know about racing I learned from my brother. And Richard Lee said, you don't know much, do you?
NASCAR, when it introduced the digital dash, said eventually that dash readout could be made available to the fans. So you can dial up your driver's radio during the race and you can see what he sees on the dashboard of his car. I think we're still a ways off, but I think that'd be, what a great enhancement that would be.
But you know, one of the things that's really nice about that dash is the lap time. Because I can't tell you how many times you go out and run a lap and you go by the line and you start wondering, what was my time? What was my lap time? And you might be on the back straightaway before they finally gave it to you. Now you just look down, you got it right there.
And I know on some of the short tracks or a road course, some of the spotters will give you the lap time, or the crew chief will give you the lap time. And I just never liked that because it was a distraction. I had to pay attention to what lap time they were, because I didn't want to know. And then I would maybe miss my mark in the next corner. But visually, when you could just glance down at it, much less of a distraction.
Kyle Larson goes to second. He's by far the quickest Chevrolet.
Well, there's that speed in this 42 Chevrolet that we saw yesterday, and now here it's coming.
You know, cell phones aren't allowed in race cars, but there's an app for that. There's something called Harry's Lap Timer that has just about all the road courses in America in there. It does predictive lap timing. Are you quicker than your last lap? Are you slower? Whole lot to do. Maybe that's why that's not allowed in these race cars.